Welcome to the channel, and to a journey into one of history's most secretive and forgotten professions. Today, we're uncovering the story of the Renaissance-era engineers, the original acoustic architects of Europe's great cathedrals. Long before microphones or the science of sound existed, these unknown geniuses discovered how to make stone sing. They were the masters who gave soul to stone, voice to vaulted ceilings, and perfect acoustics to spaces built for the divine. How did they achieve the impossible without any modern technology? And why were they ultimately erased from history? Join me as we decode the lost secrets of the world's first sound designers. In 1420 Florence, the nearly complete Santa Maria del Fiore Cathedral had a mysterious problem. Though magnificent in appearance, it was acoustically dead. Priests' voices faded before reaching the rear pews, and choir music sounded flat and distant. The architects were baffled. They had built for visual grandeur, forgetting the essential element of sound. Enter Antonio di Luca, a stonemason with an extraordinary gift. He could read how sound would behave in unfinished spaces simply by listening to the echo of a single clap. Hired secretly by the Medici family, Antonio became the first documented acoustic master, beginning a revolution in architectural sound design that would remain secret for centuries. His tools? Nothing but his trained ears, simple measuring cords, and an intuitive understanding of how sound danced between stone surfaces. Antonio quickly discovered he wasn't alone. Across Italy, a small, secretive guild of orecchio masters, ear masters, had been developing their art for generations. These men possessed what seemed like supernatural abilities. They could predict how a whisper would travel across a future vaulted ceiling, or how choir voices would blend beneath a dome not yet built. They worked primarily at night, testing sound propagation in incomplete structures using carefully timed bells, specialized whistles, and even the flickering patterns of candle flames to track air movements. Their findings were recorded in cryptic notebooks using a secret symbolic language, protecting their valuable acoustic secrets from competitors and ensuring their exclusive services remained in high demand among Europe's competing city-states. The acoustic masters developed an intricate understanding of how different materials affected sound. Through painstaking experimentation, they cataloged how porous limestone absorbed certain frequencies while marble reflected others, how granite created sharp echoes and sandstone produced warm reverberations. They discovered that stones literally had acoustic memory. Their sound properties changed with age, temperature, and even humidity. Master Antonio's breakthrough came when he realized that alternating stone types in specific patterns could create sound pathways, directing voices along predetermined routes through the vast cathedral spaces. This revolutionary concept of architectural sound steering would become their most guarded trade secret. The masters discovered that sacred geometry held acoustic secrets. Certain mathematical ratios used in cathedral design, particularly the golden ratio, produced not just visual harmony but perfect sound distribution. They learned to calculate dome curvatures that would focus sound at specific points, design pillar placements that would break up destructive echo patterns, and create nave proportions that allowed speech to remain intelligible across unprecedented distances. Antonio developed the whisper gallery concept, carefully engineered curved surfaces that could carry a whisper from the altar to the farthest corner of the cathedral, creating seemingly miraculous audio effects that astonished worshippers and enhanced the mystical atmosphere of religious ceremonies. As their art advanced, the acoustic masters began incorporating intentional flaws into their designs, hidden chambers behind altars, strategically placed hollow columns, and specially carved surface textures that acted as sophisticated sound modifiers. These included bass traps to absorb low-frequency rumbles, resonance chambers to enhance specific musical notes, and diffusion surfaces to scatter sound evenly throughout the space. The most ingenious were the confession conduits, hidden sound channels that allowed priests to hear confessions from specific locations with supernatural clarity, creating awe-inspiring effects that reinforced the church's spiritual authority and made the very architecture seem divinely inspired. Without any measurement instruments, the masters developed ingenious testing methods. They used timed candle flickers to measure air movement from sound waves, placed water-filled bowls on surfaces to observe vibration patterns, and employed teams of assistants with perfect pitch to map frequency distribution throughout buildings. Their most sophisticated tool was the echo wheel, a precisely timed rotating device that could measure reverberation time by comparing initial sounds to their returning echoes. Antonio's team could detect timing differences imperceptible to ordinary ears, allowing them to make millimeter-scale adjustments to surfaces that dramatically improved acoustic performance. By the late 15th century, demand for acoustic masters had spread across Europe. From St. Peter's in Rome to Canterbury Cathedral in England, these specialists commanded extraordinary fees and traveled between construction sites like rock stars of their era. They developed a secret guild with initiation rituals and sworn oaths of secrecy. The most famous masters like Antonio trained apprentices for decades before revealing their deepest secrets. Competition between cities became so fierce that masters were sometimes kidnapped or bribed to abandon one project for another. Their influence extended beyond churches to royal palaces and eventually to early opera houses, shaping how entire generations experienced sound. The decline began in the 17th century with the scientific revolution. As understanding of sound physics grew through the work of scientists like Galileo and Mersenne, the mystical art of the acoustic masters began losing its magical status. The invention of basic acoustic measurement tools allowed ordinary architects to achieve acceptable results without specialized ear training. By the 19th century, the development of electronic measurement devices made the masters' delicate ear-based methods seem primitive. The final blow came with Sabine's formalization of reverberation theory in 1900, which reduced their centuries of accumulated wisdom to mathematical formulas anyone could apply. Though the profession disappeared, its legacy echoes in every modern concert hall, recording studio, and performance space. Today's acoustic engineers still use principles first discovered by the Renaissance masters: strategic surface diffusion, calculated reverberation times, and intentional reflection patterns. Modern analysis has confirmed the astonishing accuracy of their work. Many of their cathedrals have near-perfect acoustic properties even by contemporary standards. The whisper galleries they created still function perfectly today, amazing visitors with effects that seem to defy physics. Their understanding of how architecture affects human emotional response through sound remains relevant in everything from theater design to urban planning. The acoustic masters left no monuments bearing their names, no grand tombs celebrating their achievements. Their legacy exists in the air itself, in the perfect clarity of a chorale rising through a Gothic nave, in the intelligibility of a prayer whispered centuries after they worked, in the emotional impact of music experienced exactly as they intended. Antonio di Luca died as he lived in obscurity, his name unknown to most who marveled at his work. Yet in cathedrals across Europe, his art continues to speak, carrying voices across time and space, proving that the most enduring creations are often those we can hear but never see, preserving the genius of those who taught stone to sing. And so, the erased story of history's first acoustic architects has been heard once more. They didn't just shape stone, they shaped silence itself. The next time you hear a choir's echo in a cathedral or experience perfect sound in a concert hall, remember the legacy of these forgotten geniuses. History should tell us not just about kings and wars, but about the quiet revolutionaries who changed our world without anyone knowing. Now, it's your turn to decide what forgotten story we uncover next. Let me know in the comments. Which lost profession should we explore? The secret firefighters of the Middle Ages, or the mysterious water engineers of the Egyptian pyramids? Your voice matters in shaping this channel. Until our next adventure, take care and stay curious. See you in the next one.